my Airstream cost me $95,000, and I own it.
Oh, I
And
see.
I own my Dodge Ram, and I'm debt free. So I'm not a billionaire. I'm the opposite, in that I'm not addicted to power and wealth. I'm free.
Oh, Mazel tov.
Hey, you want to Jewish man? I can't wait to get out of fucking California, man. It's so stressful, this whole fucking state. Oh my God. If I didn't get out now, man, I think I would lose my Texas citizenship. Even if I've been 5 generations from Texas.
I'll be back. I'm gonna go to my kitchen and get some red wine. I'll be back in just a minute. Hold the fort down.
67, 78. It must be almost 10 where you're at to be drinking wine. Hey, Tay, Teresa. In any case, anyone is welcome to join me on my little gypsy caravan, my regionaut, across country, exploring social spaces and seeing who's being regionati and regionice. Double link. Am I basically almost? Fucking California. Jesus Christ. Did it stop? Yeah. Anybody who sings, I could use someone with a decent singing voice to help me finish this song I'm working on called Dance Monkey Dance. Put it in the chat.
Okay. Welcome back to the John Kidover Show. We now have our wonderful Theodore Herzl red wine. This is Zionist, Jewish, kosher, Ashkenazi, Mishling, patrilineal Jewish wine. Ribono Shaloilon, Catapuz. Oh my God. Ribono Shaloilon, Catapuz, can you give us the Shavua Tov blessing of peace? Hello? Ribono Shaloilon.
You chased him off. Are you Jewish?
I play one on television. Ribono Shaloilon.
So,
I am a patrilineal Jew.
so am I. But get this, I was an accidental Jew in boot camp. Like, my last name is Blumberg, but I was raised Assemblies of God evangelical. But on my way to boot camp, I'm blabbing away about my last name to how I'd spent the summer trying to, like, investigate my heritage. And for some fucking reason, they put Jewish on my dog tag. I was the only Jew in my entire battalion.
Mm-hmm.
And before I could tell my drill instructor that I wasn't Jewish, he goes, "Mother, right?" I was like, "Sure." And it was off base. It was like lots of bagels, ice cream, phone calls. And when I got back to the squad bay, he called me in, "Bloomberg, so how's the ice cream and all that?" And I didn't know what to say. I was like, "Oh no, I'm going to get my ass beat." He said, "I don't care about any of that, but you're under strict orders not to convert anybody, or everybody will be Jewish, right?" So they sure make me like Baker retreat and all that shit. And I was practiced 2 days, and the whole time I was Marine, but I was never converted. I think that's pretty weird. I didn't know until I was practicing 2 days in the Marines. It's just how fucking racist people are. People throw money at me and tell me to pick it up because I'm all that shit.
That's yeah. I went to a military college called the Citadel.
No shit.
Yeah.
So you were an officer?
Yeah.
What branch?
Army, huh?
Ah, yeah. I guess that makes you about as close to being Marine as you can be and not be a Marine.
Yeah, my roommate was a Marine, and man, I mean, I'll tell you, these Marines have, you know, their heads. I mean, they're just so sharp, like so dangerous, you know.
Dude, like the biggest assholes I've known in my life were all Marines.
What's amazing is how the intense physical exercise that they do makes them so fucking intelligent. That's the thing that people don't understand. And I'm not saying like enlightenment intelligence. I'm saying like fuck with me and I will eat you kind of intelligence. So
I was desperate to I had been accepted into the officer program as a corporal, the NROTC program, but my wife left me and she left her fucking cat. And I got these lumps got swollen and shit. They didn't just generalize antibiotic. They never asked me if I had a cat, which turns out I have cat scratch fever. It takes a very specific antibiotic to treat. And they damaged my fucking shoulder nerve, and I couldn't lift my arms intimidated. So they dropped me from the officer program and sent me to college. But my platoon thought I was fucking faking and tried to scrape my face off. Basically,
I was clown commander in chief, and I worked in the clown industrial complex. I was a regular clown on stage before all training exercises. My clown comedy routine won me claims and fame far and wide, and I became a safety instructor clown.
my first deployment, man, somebody was back in a 5-ton, lost sight of the guy who was ground guiding him, and squished the poor fucking 18-year-old who'd just been married 6 months.
Oh.
And just had a kid. Squished all his guts out.
Oh, man.
I've been in transportation and operations ever since, and that's what's hilarious, dude, is you're right. The answer is it's a fucking PSA. When I make my anthropological research presentation. I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the whole, like, there's your exits, there's the gathering. I'm going to do like a straight up safety report, like I would in the oil fields. Mr. Chemical was my last big operational position. Ran the whole kit and caboodle. But it was, yeah, it was all fucking safety. And safety is all about communication, open and transparent. Like, so, the boy who cried wolf, sure, he shouldn't have made it less alone. But the fucking response to me had an obligation to always show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I have a Chinese flute here, and in honor of this beautiful Sunday and being here with all you special, beautiful, wonderful people, Reboino Shaloylan, I can't thank you enough for coming to my podcast. Without you, none of this would be possible. I want to dedicate this song to your health, to your wealth, to your love, to your peace of mind. Reboino Shaloylan, Shavuot Tov! Okay, this next flute is a Peruvian flute. Let's dedicate this song to the wine god Dionysus. Reboino Shaloylan. The skin flute? Yeah, if you got a flute, play it. Okay, so now I'm going to whistle you a song. I hope you enjoy it. This is from the world famous Francis Ford Coppola and book by Mario Puzo, The Godfather.
Look, you would have seen me.
awesome.
It was. Now, can you do good, the bad, and the ugly?
That isn't a very hard song to whistle.
Yes, Pierce Brosnan.
What about Mozart? Can you do a Mozart impersonation?
Sure. Achtung!
She was very patient.
Patience is a virtue, you know why? If nobody wants it, nobody has it. It's the last thing you get because you didn't kill yourself. You stayed in bed and cried instead.
Have you ever heard the Dhammapada?
No, but it sounds like something you do to a baby's bottom when you're changing their diaper.
It's basically one way to probably translate that. But this is the writings of the Buddha. You want to hear? You want to hear it? You want to hear? There's one in here that. Let me see if I can find it. Well, I could read you Flowers, The Fool. Those are two very powerful hypnoses. This is Buddha wisdom. So this is The Fool, Chapter 5 from the Dhammapada. Take the deepest breath of the day through your nose. Hold it for 10 seconds. Okay, this is Chapter 5, The Fool. Long is the night to him who is awake. Long is a league to him who is tired. Long is the round of rebirth to the foolish who do not know the true law. If a traveler does not meet with one who is his better or his equal, let him keep firmly to his solitary journey. There is no companionship with a fool. These sons belong to me, and this wealth belongs to me. With such thoughts a fool is tormented. He himself does not belong to himself, how much less sons and wealth. The fool who knows his foolishness is wise at least so far, but a fool who thinks himself wise, he is called a fool indeed. If a fool be associated with a wise man even all his life, he will perceive the truth as little as a spoon perceives the taste of soup. If an intelligent man be associated for 1 minute only with a wise man, he will soon perceive the truth, as the tongue perceives the taste of soup. Fools of little understanding are their own greatest enemies, for they do evil deeds which must bear bitter fruits. That deed is not well done of which a man must repent, and the reward of which he receives crying and with a tearful face. No, that deed is well done of which a man does not repent, and the reward of which he receives gladly and cheerfully. As long as the evil deed done does not bear fruit, the fool thinks it is like honey, but when it ripens, then the fool suffers grief. Let a fool month after month eat his food like an ascetic with the tip of a blade of kushag grass. Yet is he not worth a 16th part of those who have well weighed the law? An evil deed like newly drawn milk does not turn at once. Smouldering like fire, covered with ashes, it follows the fool. The knowledge that a fool acquires, so far from profiting him, destroys his good fortune, nay, it cleaves his head. Let the fool wish for a false reputation, for precedence among the monks, for lordship in the monasteries, for honor among other people. May both laymen and those who have left the world think that this is done by me. May they be subject to me in everything which is to be done or is not to be done. Thus in the mind of the fool and his desire and pride increase. One is the road that leads to wealth, another the road that leads to nirvana. If the monk, the disciple of Buddha, has learnt this, he will not delight in the praise of men. He will strive after separation from the world. Okay, we're back. This is the John Kitova Show. Boy, my show. Okay, everybody, this is the John Kitova Show. Bashal Yogi wanted to come back in here. Or he wanted to do a one-on-one with me, but I just denied it because I'm here creating content. I don't have time for this bullshit.
If he is attacking you on any personal way, that doesn't mean it's okay for you to attack him. You know better than that. You teach your children all that better than that.
No, I actually, everything I'm saying about him, like, if this is holy, like, selling butt plugs with your daughter, I don't know. You're right. I think it's gross. I think it's disgusting, and I do not. It's not the definition of holy in the Christian faith, is what I would say. It's weird to me. It's very weird. I mean, this could be a difference in our religions, but by the way, your religion does not trump my religion. So I think that you should respect the fact when I say something is unholy, I am referring to my religion. His relationship between him and his daughter is very creepy to me. The sex podcast is very creepy to me. The idea of sitting down and talking to your father about, topics of sex in any regard is creepy to me. Him promoting butt plugs that are sold by his daughter is creepy to me. I have a right to say that I find this to be utterly unholy and that any faith leader, at least in the Christian community, would agree that all of this is giving us very weird vibes between the father and daughter relationship. I can say that all I want, and I do think that part of it, and this is where we get to the topic of where people perceive this and they say, is this a form of Jew supremacy? To say, suspend your Christianity because my Judaism matters more, is the feeling that I get when you say, you don't get to say it's an unholy rabbi. Pornography is unholy in my view. You might disagree with that. It's unholy to Christians. The topic of pornography, peddling pornography, selling butt plugs, the commercialization of pornography is unholy, and I'm going to continue to call him unholy because that is what I deem him to be, and I say that as a Christian.
If he is attacking you on any personal way.
Welcome. The I has returned. It was so interesting when I was reading to you yesterday. It immediately brought up the I am. How are you, I?
Hi, I'm good. I'm at work.
Oh, you're always at work.
Aye.
Hello, Pascal, right?
It's more like you may pass and go to school. Pass school.
Pascal.
Pass school.
Pascal.
Pass school.
Pascal?
Pass school. Yeah, at school.
School, whatever. Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, my name has a way of pronouncing it. Like, that's, yeah. So it's not whatever.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I think somebody ended my room. I can't believe it. I was flowing, but I think so I finished reading The Fool from the Buddha, and this is one of the interesting things about the Buddha is that people think that it's just like a world religion. It's actually a book, and it's called the Dhammapada. So, if you've never read the Dhammapada is it's really the best teachings of the Buddha. There are other manuscripts and doctrines, and like I read to you the Shin Shin Ming earlier. It's really a giant hypnosis industrial complex, as I stated earlier, that all communication is hypnosis. And I want to thank you for coming back to the John Kidover Show, Pascal and I. Blessings and peace to you both. Blessings and peace to both of you. I hope that my room is fruitful for you. I'm now going to read to you The Flowers by the Buddha. This is chapter 4. Who shall overcome this earth and the world of Yama, the lord of the departed, and the world of the gods? Who shall find out the well-taught path of virtue, even as a cleaver, garland, weaver picks out the right flower? The disciple will overcome the earth, the world of Yama, and the world of the gods. The disciple will find out the well-taught path of virtue, even as a cleaver, garland, weaver picks out the right flower. He who knows that his body is like froth and has learned that it is as unsubstantial as a mirage will break the flower-tipped arrow of Mara and never see the king of death. Death carries off a man who is gathering flowers and whose mind is distracted, as a flood carries off a sleeping village. Death overpowers a man who is gathering flowers, and whose mind is distracted before he is satiated in his pleasures. As the bee collects nectar and departs without injuring the flower, or its color, or scent, so let a sage go about a village, not the perversities of others, not what they have done or left undone should a sage take notice of. Like a beautiful flower, full of color but without scent, are the fair but fruitless words of him who does not act accordingly. Like a beautiful flower, full of color and full of scent, are the pure and fruitful words of him who acts accordingly. Even as one who make many kinds of wreaths from a heap of flowers, so should one born to the mortal lot perform good deeds manifold. The scent of flowers does not travel against the wind, nor that of sandalwood, or of tagara, or malika flowers, but the fragrance of good people travels even against the wind. A good man pervades every place. Sandalwood or tagara, a lotus flower or a vasiki. Among these sorts of perfumes, the perfume of virtue is preeminent. Mean is the scent that comes from tagara and sandalwood. The perfume of those who possess virtue rises up to the gods as the highest. The people thus excellently virtuous, abiding in earnestness and emancipated through knowledge, through true knowledge. Mara the tempter never finds the way. Is on a heap of rubbish cast upon the highway. The lotus will grow, full of sweet perfume and delight. Thus the disciple of the truly enlightened Buddha shines forth by his knowledge among those who are like rubbish, among the people who walk in darkness.
Shouldn't it really sound more like is knowledge among those who are like rubbish, among those people who walk in darkness? Just saying. Did you want to hear? I got a short story for you. It's called Bovine Bob finds his voice. A story about a bovine That's critical information. He needs to get to his herd. What's he going to do if he can't get everybody to listen? You want to hear that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Yeah, it's I'm checking out your link to short story I wrote. Another day in the field with wonderfully green tasting grass. The sun was setting in the distance, glowing bald around the streams wrapped in gold filaments as it was extinguished in the darkening pastures, just beginning to blossom in violets, maroons, various pinks and yellows. A snake pitched at Bob's rear haunch. He instinctively swabbed at it with his tail, looked at his rump. The food of God's grass hanging from his chewing jaw, allowing Bob to catch a glimpse of the sun as he gave up his life to the slice of Earth's horizon. Oh, good. My alarm's going off. Siri, stop. Another gorgeous day's sun going out on the Earth's unforgiving surface, sliced away in all them pretty colors till the sun makes its appearance. Bob thought to himself, he was an average bull in his herd, never made much of a fuss, and himself most things as good cattle ought to do. He turned back to gather up the last of the day's girls before heading back to bed down and the rest of the herd for the night as he lowered his head to a particularly colorful hatch blade that was under another member of the herd's old chewed up and discarded eatings. He noticed something out of it. It looked like some shrooms that often got the field after a moist evening or morning. Not a lot of them, in fact, Bob didn't mind. They usually just added a nice flavor to the vittles he was eating, even though they could get a right bitter taste every once in a while. But these were not. These mushrooms made the grasses they were laying on taste wonderful. He pondered this as he turned and made his way back to the herd sleeping place. By the time he was about to plop down on his favorite spot, Bob was beginning to see a spectrum of colors. Spectrum? What's that word doing in my head? How do I know what it means? Whoa! And that last echo shivered itself into layers of free associating ideas beyond the usual we all know and love. He began dancing through the blinky things in the dark skies above, jumping clean over the moon. He even turned into a lady singing on stage by the name of Jane Lo. He was, for a time, a fly sitting on his own rump, extremely hot and annoyed at something for what seemed like an age. He got deep, realizing something he'd never thought of before. He was a cow. Did he feel like doing something like laughing or something? He didn't know how to describe what he'd never experienced before. He also felt despondent. Above all, he was hungry for a hamburger, whatever that was supposed to be. Food, maybe? Whatever it was. He somehow knew it to be delicious. His thoughts were popping into each other. As they turned into the herd as usual, he was just capped for small pup and taking the antlers to join big herd in the big field. And this memory was much more vibrant than any other time he ever thought about those days that had gone before. Echoes crisscrossing before his nose and tickling a bit. They becoming visible themselves before him. He again watched the antlers. Hey, Paul! There, wait! Mom and Paul into the boxes to take him to join the big herd. Except for this time, he popped out of his cell and into his Paul's head. It was a weird feeling. As the slide box they were in had slits and his ball could see out of. But moo, it was a bit crowded and uncomfortable. An interminable amount of time passed. His mind went wide with fear, confusion, and horror. Bob was moving all night, right bothering all the cows here. Some had moved away to have any hope of sleep whatsoever. Whenever Bob was dreaming, it was unusual. Those who were near him commented to another, "Thou sure is milking was for the morning milk cows." And Bob woke with his head feeling like he had licked far too much salt the day before. Like he'd been kicked hard in the head by another member of the herd or something. It took him a while to get his legs up under himself to stand, and his legs were shaky. And when them handlers took notice of Bob's trouble getting up, it was beginning to come over to give him a hand, the thing that would have been welcome. It passed, but this time Bob shivered from the top of his dome down the starter's tail. He also started moving closer to the stall. The handler placing a hand on him. He half walked, half ran to join the others. When he finally caught up, falling into somewhat of a regular gait, he settled into the relaxed walk to the fields. It was a nice routine he could allow himself to chill into. Began to listen to the usual morning chatter. There was a stable of the herd. Biddy's making it out to the fields. Francine said she heard Betsy tell Georgine that she heard Martha say the rancher's daughter says we're going to be taken to the big field to join the big herd at the end of this week. Said Claudette, matter of fact. Bob lid stiff. After a moment, he found himself compelled to speak up. We shall get in the boxes again.
It's impossible to
Spoken up, he herded it out. The handlers are going to take us to another large rock where we're going to shut up. Couldn't help it. But he continued. His statement echoed over the herd, making his head hurt even more. Felt like he was getting kicked by circles now. Barely registered it's not moving. We're looking at him like he just turned inside out and was standing in front of him with his insides on his outsides. What was I? Who's called the race talk? Did somebody say something? Did Bob say something about handlers killing us? Oh, that's not how that story goes. Bob was suddenly confused, losing his place. A moment ago, he'd lost where he was because this was a different place. It seemed like entirely in pasture. It looked so different. There were these bird things sort of hanging out around him, too. Somehow he knew these were handlers. They didn't look like human handlers. Wait a minute. The handlers were beings that served, worshipped, and cared for Bob their entire life. What were these things? Bob, you know that is not how the old story goes. So much has changed since they were raised. Why are you telling them that whole stories? You trying to scare the Dickens out of everybody? Asked Bobby Frank. Just asked you to semicircle. Bob is generally confounded. He wasn't sure exactly what he'd done wrong. Drawing the inner buzz almost silently beyond the cows. Mechanical word and ever-present sound. But, wait, what story? Bobby Frank walked up. Bob, just what has gotten into you lately? The last couple of days, you haven't been able to get anything out straight. Keep getting in this rut. The handlers are out to kill us all. Rangers need us. Just what is that all about? Hell, Bob, we haven't even seen any human handlers just after we were calves ourselves. These here don't even right understand what you're talking about. I hear him talking and stuff. I don't know what's happening, Bobby Frank. You say I was telling a story? Well, I'll tell you. You see, I had eaten some of the shrooms like to grow in the littles from time to time, and Bob stuttered, noticing how Bobby Frank wasn't really listening to anything he had to say as usual. He decided to forestall the deep empty feeling you get after going to all the trouble of relaying the nuanced analysis of the events that had apparently led to his current incongruent predicament. He went from ADT.
God bless
You
you.
know how it is, huh, Frank? I'm getting older now. I apologize for all living up to the fine example of a bovine you've been trying to set for the rest of us. Bovine Frank's interest perked up once he heard his name mentioned.
God bless you.
Here's my fault, of course. I've been having some bad dreams lately. Well, it ain't helping nothing when you go off tell stories like that. You're plumb gonna frighten everyone. So once
You're such a clown.
graduated and
You are such
you
a
want to go to the
clown.
big field, this is their just reward for doing everything that you're supposed to do right. And that is the J.O.B. loves. Failures get stuck with helping raising calves. Now, Bob, we all know that ever since your mom and pa got sent to the big field earlier, and as usual, on account of how well they were both very fine bovine, you couldn't find it in your heart or stomachs to be moved for them, like any sensible cat would have been. No, you selfishly wanted them to stick around and finish raising you. As if how to be proper bovine wasn't already in you. As if they had to teach you how to accept the moves of honor of your birth as a bovine. As if being half an eaten grasshopper wasn't the height of the great bull's creation of the pasture for all of us. When you go and reverse the almighty moo with insanity like the handlers doing the bit directions who had somehow built takes bovine flesh, you just pull out drink pause for a shudder at this point in his lecture that Bob had heard over and over and over. But look, Bob, the herd isn't just getting restless with all your milking. It's unseemly coming from the bull to pasture straight up, or things will get worse for you. Do you hear me, Bob? He stressed me, blustered. Bob felt like a stick failure as a bovine. He couldn't progress it. Figure out what was going on. Last one place his life had been just before he was about to bed down with the herd. Since then, he'd gone from bovine patriarchal, carnivore empathizing, and story shredding, entirely out of place and time. Now he's confused and present. Personally, he thought it was likely an anomaly that was an emerging feature of the psychedelic fungi he had consumed researchers from time to time to better highlight some deeper truth about his existence, and he was missing. He kept those things largely to himself. He hung his head down low. Oh, all right, bovine Frank, I accept my just salt in most places as I would. I'll figure out what's what soon. He let out a submissive, obedient. He hazarded a glance at the bovine Frank to see how he took his display of contrite submission. Except there was only empty air. Well, there were plenty of groupie flies still. Tried to catch a bovine Frank. He had the most extensive pile of groupie flies of any in the herd due to his confident gait and talkative manner. Just a sign of elusive intelligence. Nope, he was alone. Mechanical drone handler flew up to him, blinked some lights. He told it, began moving. Bob was so cut up in his head that he scarcely noticed that there were members lining up next to him. He was led by one of the other drone handlers. Didn't notice when the cattle truck he got into took off. Didn't even smell anything different when he was offloaded. Bob was already on his way up the ramp into the big box before the change and scenery registered. He stopped and looked around. Whoa! Wait, what? What tarnish? Everybody stop! Do not go into that big box. Frank's gonna kill us. Heal us. Oh, my goodness. Now, get over, Bob. He's always saying the Rangers worshipped us since birth. We don't support it, but Russia's scared for us because they love doing it, and we let them. They never had ever shown any indication of wanting to eat us. Shut up, Bob. Didn't eat you. Bob didn't hear anything Bovine Frank said. He shoulders his way to the edge of the ramp and had jumped off. Get past dropping off about 40 feet from the ramp, then whirled around. Before him, the ramp. Great big box. And his herd was on the ramp. Some of the herd were already going into the big box. But he felt something he'd never felt before, far within himself, down in his big, furry heart. That feeling swirled there, gathering and quickening strength, pulling in all of his feelings of inadequacy, all the times, all the other bulls laughed at him, feeling as other bulls left to be part of the rodeo as heroes. On the lonely nights when none of the ladies or any of the cattle chose to bug down near him, he swallowed all of that, all of his confusion and his reason insides in a fit of righteous indignant anger that came rushing back and engulfing everything such as absolute need that the herd listened to him. Up past all his stomachs, his recently swallowed mushrooms manifested in a "Who's in here, herd? You hey off the back there and wrap this thing. If you don't, you're going to get killed by the ranchers and herd stopped dead in its tracks. A couple of drone haters ran to the big box in the ranch town and tore the ground with their spurs. Absolute silence reigned over the herd. As if the universe held its collective breath. A small question rose up in the herd. Was it Francine or Georgette? I couldn't tell. Where's that bro, right? Have I heard that out such a boy's boo?
13.6 thousand plus.
Began going over the side of the ramp to collect Grant Bovine Bob in a shifting and admiring crowd. Bulls much slower to react. Bovine Frank rebelled. Who does not think he is? Let not move like that at our BFDs. Move like that? Why didn't he come back? All the questions were passed now. What are you doing tonight, Bovine Bob? Asked Susie. Have you got any get down with tonight? Bovine Bob let it wash over it.
Oh my God, you're the funniest motherfucker. Oh, you are. God bless you.
Later. Instead, he allowed himself to be grateful for whatever got him to get his herd off the ramp. He was very concerned about his already gone in the box, but hey, the relief he felt of getting the herd off the ramp was something he had never felt before. It was the satisfaction that he felt having finally proven himself to be worth the cow to hold the tiger of Bovine. He'd always been Bob, you see. That's like, since it meant that the other cattle saw you less worthy of being considered a Bovine. Well, he was going to be called Bovine from here on out. That was for sure. He had done it. He, Bovine Bob, had finally found his voice.
Hashem is laughing.
Postscript. Meaning grunts could not get any member of the herd to respond. By the time any of them could signal any of the herd to move,
God bless you. You might be the funniest clown in all of Israel. With bonus for they will never think you are funny. Hashem is laughing with joy.
Bovine Bob's trials, yea, even his right tribulations, as the new herd chief, only just beginning. That is, if you can make it past Monday. Moral of the story is, when your life feels like shit, if you eat any shit, you might eat shit with shit in the shit. That might be more shit than you had planned for. Shit you learned my ginger. Shit doesn't get you ready for shit unless you are ready for shit.
The Candace Jew.
Be ready for shit.
Phil.
Shit. That truth is the shit.
Oh my God. Cloud King.
It's one of my favorite stories.
Okay, thank you for that incredible contribution. That was really good. Really good. And yeah, really good. You know, do you know who the comedian Gallagher is?
I've seen him.
You saw him live?
Yeah, I didn't sit up close. My sister and her boyfriend did, her husband did. They got
They-
clobbered with all kinds of
They got Sledge-O-Matic.
Yeah, they did. They told me to do that.
You know, one time he came. So I was friends with Gallagher. He came to my condo one time. He pulls up into the parking garage. I go down into the parking garage to meet him. I get in his car with him, and the car is covered in like food particulates, and it smells like shit. Because, you know, he's a hard-working man in show business, and you sweat your ass off, and that filthy fuck hadn't showered in probably a week or days. And he goes, "You got any weed?" He goes, "Roll us up a joint."
You're such a weird guy.
So, anyways, oh man, I think I let him. I don't know. We checked into a hotel or something. But anyways, man, I was like, "Bro, I'm not letting you up into my place. You smell like shit, man." So, anyways, my point is,
Stop carrying top too.
my point is, he was a prolific writer, and he used to love his Facebook. He published so much stuff on his Facebook, and man, that motherfucker could write. Really, really could. So I appreciate and respect what you just read. I assume you wrote that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of a short story anthology called The Struggle Between.
It's called The Short Struggle Between.
The Struggle Between. It starts out with it's bookended by two human stories. One's called the One in the Room, which is a metaphor for your internal dialogue, and then the other truth, which is when you have other people in your life.
Yeah. Yep.
And between is a whole bunch of fun animal stories. I haven't actually gotten it published yet. I just published it on Medium, so. But thank you very much. It means a lot that you complimented it.
Well, I mean, it was your whole performance. It wasn't just what you wrote. It was like, you know, you obviously are an actor, and it was great.
Yeah, and I've only done some plays. Everyone tells me I should do voiceovers, but I have no idea how to break into it. It's very tiny. It took me 2.5 years to learn how to do. I could do like most comic, cartoon voices and Muppets. Yeah, I watched Red Skelton and Rich Little and all those growing up.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you got to be in proximity, and you got to be really talented, and
It's all about the people, really. I'm super talented. I just have not the right people.
Yeah.
Closest I got was I had an audition for Anakin Skywalker that I skipped, even though my agent had pulled strings to get me the audition because she thought I would get the part. Because my wife at the time said, "Fame or family?" If I'd known family was going to be a thing for very much longer, I would have gone for fame. But yeah, I probably wouldn't have survived the fame.
Well, a whole metaphor about Luke Skywalker and the power of the Force, and even this whole thing with Candace Owens, where it's like people are saying she got fired. It's like, man, she didn't get fired. She got liberated, and she'll rise like a phoenix and have more success, just like Obi-Wan Kenobi. So that is the metaphor for the Scorpio, or the grand phoenix rising. It is the Kundalini. It is the chakras.
The power of the Kundalini. Join me as we do Kundalini exercises. Then we shall get stronger together. Sounds like Darth Vader. That's James Earl Jones,
I saw James Earl Jones once in an airport in a stretcher, on an air ventilator, and I was like, "Oh my God, there's Darth Vader! Oh my God, there's Darth Vader!" And he waved at me.
Really?
Yeah, and he's still alive. He's like 96 now or something. He's like super old. I looked him up and he's like, he's still alive. I was like, I saw his ass in the airport in a stretcher like 15 years ago.
I saw a guy walk by a restaurant with lights working. I ran out the light restaurant and went, "You don't know nothing." We just did an impromptu 10-minute improv. Star Wars was great. I just couldn't resist seeing a lightsaber go by and not jump out. Like, yeah, I like doing improv. Do you do any street performances or anything? Do you do any theater or anything? Sure. Did you hear me?
No,
Performances?
no, I went to get some more wine. What did you say?
Do you do any performances?
I'm a clown house performer and I do Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, I do Instagram. Well, I'm heading east, and I do my self-guided therapy for my surface-connected trauma. It is recoverable, but it's called state or service core. And I start out with music, and then I go to art to do some art lessons, and then I do improv and crafts a few hours. I make it available for veterans. Suicide crisis, hoping the idea catches on, but really it's for me first. But if you're east of California, maybe I can swing by and see you do your stuff.
I mean, you can just see it right now. That's the whole point. Is it's all live on Instagram. It's all live on YouTube. It's all live on Clown House.
Oh, you don't? Oh, so okay. Yeah, I mean, I do funny reels and stuff, but there's something about doing it on the street that is just invigorating.
Not really. I like doing it in my protective security bubble in my underpants while I drink wine and smoke weed and jerk off in the sun. I'm gonna come.
While you're smoking and drinking wine, that is talent, my friend. Well, thank God that you can't bend over and give yourself a blowjob, or you might never leave the house. Or can you? Can you do that? That would be something people would probably pay to see. Army, I swear to God. Weird. Oh, John, get over. Okay. John, get over. Are you in Chicago?
Yeah.
Wow, that's where Second City is.
Yeah. My dad was a performer, and he worked with Chuck Sweeney, the guy from Police Academy, Sweet Chuck.
Yeah, if I'd known I was only 3 or 4 miles from Robin Williams, I'd have gone and pestered him to mentor me like he did Jonathan Winters.
So,
Yeah.
I'm going to do a few more readings here on this podcast broadcast. It's now 9:45 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're recording this out of Chicago. I have many book options that I can choose, but I will defer to you. What is your name, by the way? My name is John.
Yeah. Pascal.
Pascal. So what category or what keyword can you toss out up into the air to inspire me to choose the next reading?
Now knows.
Okay, so I'm going to read to you from the Secret Wisdom of the Kabbalah by J.F.C. Fuller, because they say that Kabbalists think with their noses. This is called the Laboratory of Satan. In the world we see a ceaseless struggle entailing change, birth, formation and growth, decay and death. A ceaseless evolution and dissolution surround us, in which everything seems to be possessed of a dual nature and to be urged onwards or backwards by a clash of dual powers. Thus far, the duality which lies at the foundation of Kabbalistic philosophy appears rational enough. Yet reason cannot tell us whether this duality is the ultimate end or whether it emanates from unity or from nothingness. Reason is a wonderful ladder which enables us to climb towards the ceiling of the intellectual world, but it does not enable us to penetrate it and see beyond. This ceiling and all which is contained beneath it belong to the realm of science, which arranges and rearranges the furniture from time to time. Beyond and above is another room, the super-scientific, the super-rational, perhaps a space which is no conceivable at all. Man, however, has never been content with...
Going to the eclipse.
What was that?
Are you going to see the eclipse?
Maybe. Let me finish this real quick.
Yes.
Reason is a wonderful ladder which enables us to climb towards the ceiling of the intellectual world, but it does not enable us to penetrate it and see beyond. This ceiling and all which is contained beneath it belong to the realm of science, which arranges and rearranges the furniture from time to time. Beyond and above is another room, the super scientific, the super rational, perhaps a space which is no conceivable room at all. Man, however, has never been content with purely rational answers, for he is possessed by what may be called a spiritual discontent, which is unsatisfied with all scientific arguments, and which has been both an assistant and resistant to scientific growth. The rationalist says that the answer to A plus B is X. The theologian says no, it is Y. And between the beliefs and disbeliefs of both has the intellectual world expanded from out of wonders to what we call facts. Yet however firmly these facts may be founded upon reason, there remains always a doubt. Within the circumference of this doubt lie all religious systems, and its center where all doubt ends is called God. To a highly intellectual and speculative mind, God is a mystery subject only to symbolic explanation. But to the crude, sensuous masses of mankind, he and his symbols are one. To the first, he is a metaphysical idea, to the second, a physical fact, as from the Kabbalistic mind is evolved an androgynous being whose very existence depends upon the balance of passive and active forces. Similarly, from the primitive mind of the masses is evolved an anthropomorphic deity who can accomplish good and evil, who consequently is to be loved and feared. As the mystical Adam Kadmon is the measure of the one, so is the physical Adam, that is man himself, the measure of the other. As the one is explained by symbols, the other is asserted in words. Between the mystical and the superstitious there is consequently a close relationship, and as man, whether mystical or superstitious, lives in one and the same world, both see God in nature but from different intellectual angles. The religion of the masses has never changed in essence, for it has always been nature worship in one form or another. Life eternal is but a prolongation of life terrestrial. The soul of the personality, heaven is but a super happy home and hell but an infra abominable goal. Everywhere and in every land we find the same ideas dressed in different garments, the same gods and goddesses of chaos and order, of love and death, of hatred and life, of fertility and dawn of night, etc. From such is built up the normal religious mood of the masses. Nevertheless, there is yet another mood, for from time to time in the world's history something happens, a man appears, but he prince or pauper, who throws the masses into such a state of religious fervor that all reason and with it all doubt is obliterated, and a spiritual condition is produced which closely resembles physical drunkenness. Such men were Orpheus, Oedipus, Osiris, Zoroaster, Krishna, Odin, Buddha, Christ, Muhammad, and a host of lesser names, mythological and historical, many of which have passed into oblivion. For a time these men have lifted the multitudes out of nature, endowing them with a spiritual instinct, a catheric nephesh, more powerful than all their natural instincts combined. Self-preservation, self-sacrifice, self-assertion, pugnacity, love, hate, fear, greed, and all the other instincts in man in an instant become slaves to this tyrant. The people are in fact filled with a god, for what the master says is the voice of the deity, yet his words cannot explain his illuminating vision. For all they can do is to translate the super-rational into the rational, and to reorder comprehensible the incomprehensible form which he himself can grasp only symbolically. These words are drawn from his sentiments nephesh and his intellect ruah, and not from his spirit neshama. And should his sentiments be gross and his intellect crude, then will his symbols be gross and crude, and so will be the words whereby he attempts to explain them. This brings us back to the opening words of this chapter. It does not matter what an intellectual man or woman may think of the wisdom of the Kabbalah. He or she may say, well, if these people like to symbolize God as a satanic force, let them. It is their business and not mine. This is tolerant enough, but it avoids the danger without removing it, which is that should a Kabbalist attain to so potent a vision that he can detonate the spiritual instinct of the masses, will he not, because of his education, make use of a satanic symbology which, literally accepted by his intoxicated followers, will spiritually turn them upside down and impel them towards the most diabolical acts of anarchy and outrage? The likelihood of this is common knowledge, for the power of the demagogue is well known, and the most dangerous of demagogues is he who is fervently narrow in his opinions of faith, that is single-minded. How much more then is he who believes that his voice is God's voice, the veritable Logos, God being symbolized to him according to what his sentiments, intellect, and education make him, and God to his listeners being fashioned according to the level of intelligence? If the symbols are accepted as realities by his followers, and in his darkness, lit by the spiritual frenzy, finds a sympathetic and passive partner in their ignorance and animality, the chaos of his would-be cosmos, then the child of this union would not be Lucifer, the intellectual Satan, but Belial, his sensuous or qliphotic counterpart. Then will the surroundings of his followers be turned into a physical hell. It was for this reason that the Kabbalists locked away the secrets from the uninitiated, and that every other truly religious cult has done the same, for the Spirit of God cannot be reflected upon chaos except as a broken, jagged, and turbulent star of light which maddens its watchers in place of illumining them. This, we are of opinion, will be accepted by most thinkers, though many will refuse to differentiate between the demagogue and the religious master, because the power of both these so-troublers varies in degree. And this is so, yet this variance opens up an important problem, namely, why does it vary? We know that in the material world conviction depends on one or more of the three spheres of power, the physical, sensuous, and the intellectual, and that this mastership stands beyond good and evil because it is a power for good and evil. A skilled craftsman may use his energy and talents for the benefit or detriment of mankind, and so also a skilled demagogue or a skilled philosopher. Is not a similar process also applicable to the spiritual sphere, granted that there is such a sphere? And if this be not granted, then some abnormal intellectual or sensuous sphere must be assumed. To us the threefold order is not alone patent to the Kabbalah, but is an obvious rational conception. We know that we are composed of matter, but matter plus something we call our ego. We know that we are living matter, and that the earth we come from is not living matter in the sense that we are. We infer, therefore, that as the earth is one thing, and as we are partly earth and partly something else, this something else is another thing. And further still, that in all probability we are a link between these two things which can only consciously manifest in ourselves, but which nevertheless may exist apart from us as a material and a spiritual world, or, when united in perfect equilibrium, form God. Accepting these possibilities, which are not far removed from the doctrines of the Kabbalah, then if any one of us could by some process or another know as much about the spiritual world and its possible spheres of power as we know about the material world, surely such a spiritualized person would possess a stupendous power over his less enlightened fellow men, always granted that there is something spiritual within them. It is the source of this spiritual or magnetic force which we will now inquire into. The mystical ordeal. There is a spiritual or mystical ordeal, not necessarily order, which all great religious masters have passed through. And Kabbalistically, it is fully described in the 32nd chapter of Genesis. In it we read, "And Jacob the vow rose up that night and took his 2 wives, the 2 Hez, also the pillars of the temple, Yakin and Boaz, and his 11 sons, the conjunction of the 5 and 6-pointed stars, the microcosm and the macrocosm, also the vow and the hair final, which symbolize purification through the balancing of opposites, and passed over the ford Jabbok, the veil of the abyss which separates the 7 lower Sephiroth from the 3 supernal ones. And Jacob was left alone in meditation, being cut off from the lower emanations, and there wrestled a man the Yod with him until the breaking of the day, the vision of the Shin. And he, the man Yod, said, Let me go, for the day breaketh, the Yod, fearing that if the sun rose, namely the Shin, his identity is the potential tetragrammaton, would be lost in the emanation of Yashiva, and his dominion would thus come to an end. And he, Jacob, said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me, unite with me, which he can only do through the 2 wives, the Yod-He, and the 7 lower Sephiroth. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince thou hast thou power with God, and with men as above so beneath, and hast prevailed, attained to the spiritual vision. Jacob then asks of him his name, but the wrestler is silent because his name cannot be pronounced, and Jacob called the name of the place Peniel. For I have seen God face to face, and my life, reason, is preserved. This ordeal, it will be seen, is of a threefold nature. First, the aspirant must equilibrate all the opposite forces within him, and not merely those he considers vicious. Secondly, he must cut himself away from all outward things and influences, and meditate on the spirit he desires to unite with. Thirdly, he must preserve that his wrestle with the spirit. These 3 acts will lead him to the vision of God, the world soul, a spark of which burns within him and differentiates him from, and also unites him to all things which surround him. Whilst this vision lasts, he is the Messiah. But once it has faded away, he is again man, yet charged with a terrific power which, according to his will, is a power for good or for evil. The existence and possible employment of this force constitute the great secret of practical magic. It is the wand of thaumaturgy and the key of black magic. It is the Edenic serpent who transmitted to Eve the seductions of a fallen angel. The astral light warms, illuminates, magnetizes, attracts, repels, vivifies, destroys, coagulates, separates, breaks, and conjoins. Everything under the impetus of powerful wills. God created it on the first day when he said, "Let there be light." This force of itself is blind, but is directed by egregores, that is, by chiefs or souls, or in other words, by energetic and active spirits. So writes Eliphas Levi. These egregores are those who tower above the flock, who are so excellent and distinguished that their wisdom frequently appears to be folly to mankind, or else is accepted blindly. The world fools, or world sages, attain to something which is extraordinary in its nature, and which, when they attempt to reveal it to those unworthy to receive it, renders them magicians, their actions being tinged not only by their mental, moral, and physical characteristics, but also by those of their recipients, or recipients. Thus we obtain two classes of mysteries or of magic, the white and the black. The fourth dimension. Okay, I'm going to take a reading break there. Again, this is The Secret Wisdom of the Kabbalah by J.F.C. Fuller, who was a World War II war hero.
Very interesting, man. Because, but do you want to be Messiah?
Well, I think it's if you get the book, it's like a great gift. It's it's $1 trillion gift, a wonderful gift.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't hear me. Okay.
No, do you want to be Messiah? No, I mean the thing is, like we said earlier in this conversation, look out, the authorities are coming to your house to put you on the crucifix and to gut you. So
No. It's the message where everyone is the Messiah. It is the chosen and the chooser. And the thing is actually hidden in the Torah. Well, it's not hidden so much as like right there in your face. That's why no one sees it. And the rabbi was repeating it over and over. You say, and like repeat after me. I wrote an article on it on Medium. I am the way, the truth, and the life. None may come be a father or mother unless they are a son or a daughter. We are the prodigal son or daughter. We go and live our lives. We're accepted 100%, doing whatever we're going to do because it's unique to us and it's perfectly us, and that's fine and dandy and good and great. But once you realize that inside, internally, you're the one who decides your value and your acceptance level. And once you accept your mortality, right, and set a course to being present in your life and living life, because we don't know, we didn't give consent to be born that we know of. So our terms and conditions for our life are when we imagine our death and live our life ready for that moment. And and then you get to be the chosen, yay. So when the sun came over the horizon, the father ran to his son, meaning he'd been watching for the return of his son every single day. And while his son's sitting there trying to apologize and ask to be his son, his dad isn't even hearing it. He's just busy throwing the party and all that. And his brothers complained, well, he went and spent all his money. We've been working our asses off this whole time. what's the big deal? And Dad says, what's your problem? Your brother was as dead, but here he is, alive and whole. And that's the point. You go inside, you accept yourself, you live your life, wait to see what's drawn in, because every push, whether it's internal or external, is always fear. Sit down, that's all you got to do. And whether it becomes the message that in the world sets itself right or not is irrelevant, because you will be happy and content with your own life. Because you can't do anything about anybody else. But I think it's one person at a time. It's like the tale that went around the elementary school. It said, no matter how you tell it, it's always the truth. Logically. So like science and religion have always been joined. So religion is the heart exploration of its environment, and the mind is science is exploration of its environment. Anyway, I get excited.
Okay, I'm gonna do another reading here. This is called The Letters of King George III, edited by Bonamy Debray. This is page one. This is page 114, chapter 26.
Like,
huh?
I love reading. I like hearing you read too.
Okay. Fine. This is to Lord North, Q 11 o'clock, October 16, 1775. Lord North. I have very maturely weighed the advantages of a winter expedition against the 4 southern colonies of North America, and the great difficulties of assembling 2,000 men for that service. But the former is so very material that I am ready to give direction for the 15th and 37th regiments of infantry being ordered to embark in the second week in December. They are not part of the 12,000 to remain in Ireland, and would probably have embarked in February for America. Weak as we are in regiments of infantry in Britain, 2 regiments shall at that time be sent to Ireland to replace the 53rd and 54th regiments, which shall also go on this expedition, being next regiments for foreign service. I am clear the next attempt should be made on North Carolina, as the Highland settlers are said to be well inclined. They ought to be offered grants of land in the same manner as those raised by McLean, to be looked on as a provincial corps, whilst employed to have the same pay as the regular troops, 1 corps to remain in the province when the regiments go to the other colonies. Virginia may also be thus defended. As to the raising a corps of Highlanders, I will fully weigh the measure, and on Wednesday give you my sentiments on that subject. P.S. When the 2 regiments are sent in December to Ireland, there will remain in Britain but 4 battalions. Though I have a great respect for the militia, I think nothing but the present moment could defend the weakening of the country so much, and I greatly prefer the calling out the militia to raising new corps. The refusal of Russia to supply mercenaries caused the king some pain. To Lord North, Queen's House, 2nd minute, past 8 p.m., November 3rd, 1775. The letter of the Empress is a clear refusal, and not in so genteel a manner as I should have thought might have been expected from her. She has not had the civility to answer in her own hand, and has thrown out some expressions that may be civil to a Russian ear, but certainly not to more civilized ones. The army votes, passed by a large majority, but the proposal that the troops removed from Ireland should be replaced by Germans was tactlessly handled in Ireland by the Lord Lieutenant Lord Harcourt, and caused animadversions in the House of Commons. To Lord North, Queen's House, 46 minutes past 2 p.m., November 28, 1775. Lord North, I can scarcely find words expressive enough at my astonishment at the presumption and imprudence of bringing forward in Ireland a matter of such great delicacy without having had the fullest directions from hence. And the very mode and words of the message, if that had been judged right, prove from hence. If this kind of conduct is continued in Ireland, one can scarcely sleep in quiet from apprehension of being daily drawn into difficulties. I honour men that will act boldly when authorized, but I highly disapprove of those who, like quacks, engage in all matters from not knowing the magnitude of the undertaking. At this time, certain changes took place in the administration. The Duke of Grafton went into opposition. Lord George Germain, who, as Lord George Sackville, had earned so unenviable a reputation at Minden, became Secretary for the Colonies, and Weymouth once more became Secretary of State.
Dun, dun, dun.
Nothing of importance occurred for some time. Gage was recalled, leaving in command Howe, who transferred his forces to Halifax with a view of occupying New York. The Americans failed before Quebec. During the summer, Canada was cleared of them, but the English attempts on South Carolina failed. Howe was dilatory, and North became depressed. From now on, we get the picture of the king prodding North on through the agency of John Robinson, who was to North what Stone had been to Newcastle. Robinson was a treasury official from 1770 to 1782, and a man of substance in his country. As a side interest, it may be noted that his aunt's husband was Wordsworth's grandfather. And then it goes on to John Robinson, Windsor, 9 minutes past 2 p.m., September 16, 1776. I am sorry to find Lord North by his letter so uneasy at the victualling ships being not yet sailed for Canada, as I attribute part of it to his not being in good spirits. I differ widely with him as to bad news being likely from New York, as we have had no account as yet. A reason just contrary, that Howe by delay has so much the better concerted his manoeuvres, and having collected the greatest part of his forces will strike the more decisive blow. In fact, in that month Howe occupied New York, and Washington's forces seemed to be crumbling. The period was critical, since Howe, with his brother Admiral Lord Howe, had been appointed commissioners
Lord Howe.
to try to conciliate the Americans. Unluckily, they had arrived a few days late after the Declaration of Independence on July 4th. So little did they accomplish that in November Franklin and Silas Dion went to Paris to obtain help there. A good deal of business was got through that session, especially during the absence of Fox in Paris, an opportunity the king urged North to seize. It was decided that Burgoyne should attack Albany. In the next year, severe measures were taken against Americans on the high seas. The Habeas Corpus Act was partly suspended, and John the Painter, who had caused fires at the dockyards, was hanged. The king was so confident that the sudden and shocking defeat at Trenton hardly ruffled him. Queen's House, 50 minutes past 5 p.m., February 24, 1777. Lord North, I am sorry to find your cold is increased, and strongly recommend abstinence in water as the ablest and safest physicians. The accounts from America are most comfortable. The surprise
Did you
and
say water?
yeah, the surprise and
Water.
abstinence in water is the ablest and safest physicians. The accounts from America are most comfortable. The surprise and want of spirit of the Hessian officers, as well as soldiers at Trenton, is not much to their credit, and will undoubtedly rather elate the rebels, who till then were in a state of the greatest despondency. I wish Sir W. Howe had placed none but British troops in the outposts, but I am certain by a letter I have seen from Lord Cornwallis that the rebels will soon have sufficient reason to fall into the former dejection. It was to Robinson that King addressed his letters, where the old fat fellow at North's enemies called him, got so thin as to feel, as he told his doctor, what he had not felt for a long time, his ribs. And these letters are less formal than those he addressed his first Lord of the Treasury. He would refer to that Babel scheme, suggest of one of his agents abroad that writing was not his forte, or doubt of another whether any trust could be reposed in him. The pessimistic reports of spies in France he was especially contemptuous of. I am quite convinced that Hinson, as well as every other spy from North America, is encouraged by Dion and Franklin, and only gives evidence to deceive. Sometimes he was more his royal self. To John Robinson, Queen's House, 24 minutes past March 5th, 1777. I am sorry to find anyone adopts the idea of there being any reason in Sir W. Howe's application for 20,000 additional troops. I know the thing is impracticable, and if he and his brother will act with a little less lenity, which I really think cruelty, as it keeps up the contest, the next campaign will bring the Americans in a temper to accept of such terms as may enable the mother country to keep them in order. For we must never come into such as may patch for a year or two and then bring on new broils. The regaining their affection is an idle idea. It must be the convincing them that it is their interest to submit, and then they will dread farther broils. In May, Chatham made another miraculous recovery, and on the 30th made an attack on the administration, which it was hard to answer. The king was not much disturbed, though he was angry. To Lord North. Q 25 minutes past 6 a.m., May 31st, 1777, Lord North. I have as yet not heard from Lord Weymouth concerning the debate in the House of Lords, and consequently am much pleased with your attention in sending unto me a copy of Lord Chetham's highly unseasonable motion, which can have no other use but to convey some fresh fuel if attended to by the rebels. Like most of the other productions of that extraordinary brain, it contains nothing but specious words and malevolence. For no one that reads it, if unacquainted with the conduct of the mother country and its colonies, but must suppose the Americans poor mild persons, who after unheard of and repeated grievances had no choice but slavery or the sword, whilst the truth is that the too great lenity of this country increased their pride and encouraged them to rebel. But thank God, the nation does not see the unhappy contest through his mirror. If his sentiments were adopted, I should not esteem my situation in this country as a very dignified one, for the islands would soon cast off their obedience. The summer was depressing for North. The French were now openly helping the Americans, and no successes were reported by Howe. The king relied on Robinson to imbue his prime minister with courage. I am sorry, he wrote to the secretary, Lord North seems rather out of spirits, but I am certain when he has seen Mr. Robinson he will be more cheerful. But it is likely that the victory at Brandywine in September and the capture of Philadelphia were more efficacious. It was not long, however, before the news of Burgoyne's surrender at Saratoga was received. North hinted that he was ready to resign, but the king, remaining calm, soothed him with a letter which began informally, My dear Lord. To Lord North, Queen's House, 30 minutes past 10 a.m., December 4, 1777. My dear Lord, I cannot help just taking up your time for a few minutes to thank you in the most cordial manner for your speech. The manly, firm, and dignified part you took brought the House to see the present misfortune in true light. It's very serious, but not without remedy. It may probably on due consideration, which I trust all in my service will be willing to give, in the end prove the wisest step in our present situation, to act only on the defensive with the army, and with great activity as to the troops. Canada, Nova Scotia, the Floridas, New York, and Rhode Island must probably be the stations, but those who have served in those parts, particularly Lord Amherst, must be consulted, and will be able to point out what is best. I shall only add that I can never forget the friendship as well as zeal you have shown to me by your conduct yesterday. During the next month it became increasingly clear that France would before long declare war. Though the king persisted in belittling the news he got from his agents, since in his view they were all stock jobbers, Amherst declared that large forces would be necessary to subdue the rebels. And though recruiting was vastly improved, North America convinced that some means of conciliation should be tried, and also that given his past he was not the man to try it. On January 29th, he wrote to the king, putting his views forward. To Lord North, Queen's House, 25 minutes past 1 p.m., January 31st, 1778. Lord North, the letter I received from you the last evening was of so serious a nature that you cannot be surprised that I chose to defer answering it until this day. Okay, that's it. I can't read anymore. We did it again! Okay, thanks for joining me on the John Kidover Show. I hope you enjoyed Michelle Ruboino Shalola.
Like, who are you guys? Like, who are you? You guys know what are you, sir? You guys know what are you?
Then will. So what you have to do now is just shut the fuck up and listen.
Donald, if you tell me to shut, you're going to have to kick me out, bro, because I'm going to be disruptive. So you're telling me to shut the fuck up, and you're tripping on it.
You just announced he's going to be disruptive, right? Let's go ahead and
I'm only being disruptive because I'm being cut off.
No, you are just being disruptive. There's no why. There's no why.
Because I'm constantly cut off. I don't even get a chance to answer any questions.
No, you're just being disruptive, right?
And you're acting like a bitch on my dick all day.
So Brandon,
Just get off my penis.
Brandon, stop 1 second.
I would appreciate you if you stay with my penis.
No, so you're doing it again, right?
Insulting people on my stage.
No, I'm insulting T.
Shut up
I don't care.
I'm a person on the stage.
I'm gonna get on T's nerves because you can go on mine.
Listen, you are stopping conversations otherwise being had on this stage.
I
If
do.
you do not,
For one, Rascal asked me about being a. I didn't bring up Flat Earth
shut
at all.
up!
No. 'Cause
Brandon, let me say
I didn't
this
ask to
one
talk about
thing.
Flat Earth.
Let me say this one fucking
I didn't
thing,
ask
Brandon.
to talk about Flat Earth, bro. Y'all came with me. Y'all came on my dick. I didn't say anything about Flat Earth. I didn't come in here to even talk about Flat Earth. What are you talking about?
If you do not stop disrupting conversation on my stage, I will have to kick you out.
Do what you gotta do, Donald.
Right
God
now.
damn, cuz. I don't care. You think I care? Do what you gotta do,
I
bro.
want you to care. I want
Well,
you
I
to
don't,
care.
though. I don't.
Well, then fuck off. Yeah.
Okay, then. What you gotta do, bro?
You should open your own room, Brandon, and then you could be the market.
Now, Joanna, I didn't come here to talk about Flat Earth. They came to me with it. Okay?
Right, because we know what you're gonna do, right?
No, I'm not gonna do that. I don't.
No, you
do that.
did. No, you did.
I did not.
You did.
Rascal brought it up, bro. What are you
No,
talking
you
about?
did it.
I
No,
didn't
you-
bring up Flat
this
Earth
one
at all.
we
What
were
are you
going
talking
to
about?
do.
You late to the conversation.
No,
You didn't hear what
you're not
happened.
understanding what I'm saying, Brandon.
No, I didn't bring up
No,
Flat
you're not
Earth.
understanding what I'm saying, Brandon.
I didn't
Hold
bring
on a
up Flat
second.
Earth.
That's fine. I understand that. That's not what I'm saying, right?
You
didn't
just
understand
said
what I
that.
said. No, I didn't. You didn't understand, right? What I'm saying is the reason that Flat Earth was brought up was because we knew what you were going to do if we brought up Flat Earth. That's what I'm saying.
I wasn't gonna do shit. You don't
No,
know
Brandon,
what I
you
was
didn't
gonna
understand
do.
what I just said. Hold on.
You weren't even gonna bring up Flat Earth. Y'all was talking about.
No, Brandon, that's not what I said. Hold on. I said we knew what you were going to do.
But you
Right.
don't know that. That's your
We
assumption.
did.
You don't know
No, you
shit.
did. No, you
You
didn't.
assume that right now.
No,
You're
you
just
didn't.
assuming that.
No, you didn't.
You just made an assumption.
No, you didn't.
You just made an assumption,
No, you
sir.
did it.
I didn't do anything.
Yes, you did.
I didn't do anything. They
Yes,
asked
you
me
did.
about the horizon. What are you talking about?
No, Brandon, I'll
I
tell
didn't
you
say,
what
I
I'm
didn't
talking
bring up the
about. Hold
horizon.
on.
I didn't bring up
Hold
Flat
on,
Earth.
I'll tell you
They
what I'm
brought up
talking about, Brandon. Hold on. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. The thing that we knew you would do is filibuster and not allow for a back and forth conversation. We knew you would do that, and you did it.
What did I do?
I just told you.
I didn't
Did you
filibuster. I was answering the
Yeah,
question.
you're doing it right now. You're
What am I
filibustering right
filibustering? Do you know what filibustering is?
You're filibustering
No,
right
I'm
now.
not. You know what that is?
Yes,
This
Okay,
is-
Donald, this is John. Since there is a chaotic disorder in this room, I guess I'll just speak over everybody anyways with absolutely no remorse or regret, and I won't give two fucks. So, Donald, this is John speaking, and I would like all your listeners on YouTube, if you are recording this room right now, I am going to demonstrate and prove that God exists and just talk over everyone. Because there is nothing but chaos and disorder in this world, and if you have that in your life, well, I will just talk right over you. If you have the disability known as emotional response disorder, and when I gaslight you in the following sentiments, I want you to reflect and know that I am here to troll you and prove to you that you have no emotional intelligence, only an emotional disability. And when I hear Donald screaming because people won't shut up and have a normal conversation, and Donald screams and his fucking body goes into a massive convulsion, I secretly giggle, and I like the fact that Donald's about to have a massive heart attack and his blood pressure surges because he can't get what he wants. And the truth of the matter is, we are playing a very complicated word game, a sound game, a gaslight game, and the sooner you become aware of that, you will relax and let things go naturally and flow. Thank you. I'm finished speaking.
Thank you. So, is there anybody
This
besides
is the clown that you appear to be to others. What he's doing is she's showing you what you look like, Brandon.
He was talking about you, T, and Donald, not me at all. I know what John was doing. He does that in everything.
You did it, right? You filibustered. You talked over people.
What did I
You wouldn't
filibuster
allow
about?
conversation.
Be specific.
You interrupted. You're doing it right now, right?
It's not filibuster.
We knew you would do
Filibuster
that.
is running your mouth.
We knew
To
you
waste
would do
time.
that.
That's what
we knew you would do, and you did it.
And I didn't do that.
You're doing it right now.
No, I'm not doing that.
So,
Filibustering is when one person is talking and
No,
everybody
you are.
else
You
listening.
interrupted me constantly. You're doing it
That's
right
not
now.
filibustering, sir.
Yes, it is.
It's called interruption.
Let others speak. Brandon, you won't let others speak. That's precisely what
You've
you're
been
doing.
disallowing
Right now,
conversation
Right now, I want you-
consistently, right?
I want
Right,
your
because
conversation-
I'm being interrupted.
Brandon,
Do you not
What I want
understand
now-
that?
Brandon, shut up.
So
What I
if
want
I'm
now-
Philip,
Shut up
so
for
are
30
you.
seconds. Stop talking for 30 seconds and let me be a fucking moderator.
you're not very good at it.
Shut up.
Oh, shit.
Brandon, what I want right now is for you to stop and for other conversations to start happening because you are not interested in having a conversation. But
Yeah,
you
go
won't
back
shut up.
to Ken's room. Go find Ken and hang out there. He'll yell at you all day, back and forth, screaming at each other. And you don't have to be so reactive. Just because someone
All too
yells at
easy.
you or says something, it doesn't give you the right to turn around and act stupid. Maintain your composure as a man.
So is there anybody else on stage or in the audience who has anything they'd like to talk about with an actual
Yeah, we
conversation?
had somebody in the room yesterday with a near-death experience.
Oh, God, don't give us this bullshit. Can somebody just read us some fucking poetry?
Yeah, read the poetry, and you know what? I can't believe that everyone's lying or had just what is it called, Donald? A surge of DMT. But what better way to know everything, really?
Oh, really, Joanna? Have you heard of these things called books? Did you know they're like CD-ROMs or old floppy
Yeah.
disks with tons of gigabytes that you can put in your brain and stop being a moron?
No, but since you hypnotized me, I'm very clear now. I have clarity.
Alright, so but if there is anybody who would like to have a conversation in the audience or on stage, I'd love to talk to that person because that'd be amazing. There's a new person on stage. Special people. Welcome. Did you have anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, why is Flat Earth so triggering to y'all?
It's not the flat earth that's triggering.
What?
It's your actions
Brandon,
that are triggering.
have you ever opened your own room?
Joanna, are you trolling right now or something?
I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Well, I want you to open your own room, and I'd like to come in and learn about your flat earth theory.
It's not a theory.
Okay, whatever it is, let's do it. I'm there. Okay.
Great.
It's not
Great.
theory.
Joanna, can I tell you to go create a room to tell Brandon to go create a room about his flat earth theory, my nigga?
Get a room. Get a room.
I mean, he's admitted right off the bat it's not a theory, right?
Is it a philosophy as well, though, Brandon? That's what I believe it is. And I wrote an essay to that extent called Flat Earth Theory versus Flat Earth Hypotheses. And it is my belief that you are actually emitting a theory, even though you don't even understand your own philosophy, you indignant little nigger.
How is it the case that the moon always shows the same face to us if in fact the Earth is flat and it rotates around the sphere, the circle of the Earth?
Let's not ask and start with questions to a flat earther, Rascal, as we all know that will go into an hour-long communique between the two of you doing Q&As, and no one believes that questions or opinions are relevant or important. You little rascal! I will take your cute little tabby cat and pet him on his head and say, you delicate little cute pussy.
All right, John, thank you. I appreciate that.
They'll probably bite you.
Is there anybody else on stage in the audience that has anything they'd like to discuss?
Yes, the Earth is observably flat and stationary.
I believe that.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Oh my god, he's describing reality, everyone. Don't let him confuse you with something called flat earth philosophy. Has anyone told you all about flat earth philosophy yet, and why they believe essentially that anarchism and the elimination of the Federal Reserve is the best form of anarchy? Rabbeinu Shaloiloi.
Nothing. I have personally measured the circumference and the rotation of it around the planet and around the sun. So you can't tell me that you've measured it to be flat and non-rotating.
I've measured a couple of things, Donald, and they weren't flat.
How did you measure that, Donald? How did you do that?
Which?
The curvature. How did you get the curvature?
He looked at a woman's ass on OnlyFans and calculated the perfect pi equation, a cream pie. The decimal points equaled infinity in all ways until he busted it out inside that delicious, juicy tuchus.
Alright, so me and a buddy of mine who lived in Oklahoma took an angle to the sun at the same time on the same day in different latitudes but the same longitude. And I got a position for the sun in two different places on Earth. And then I took that position, I plotted it on both a flat plane and a curved surface, and on a flat plane, the sun was in two different positions, which is contradictory, and on the curved surface...
Thank God Columbus got over here. Otherwise, I don't think anyone would have ever been able to actually do all this. It's all progressive, you know? Intelligence building on intelligence.
Shut up!
We don't have to know math anymore.
So on a curved
We just have to know emotional intelligence, Donald, and I want to see if I can make your head
So on
pop.
a curved surface,
Can I make you have a stroke?
both of the
Can I stroke you out?
same
Go
position.
smoke a cigarette and brush your teeth, you vile, despicable, slimy little creature. Explode! 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 Fascinating, Donald. I don't know if you know this, Donald, but not many people can follow your mathematics, and honestly, I can barely do division anymore. My brain is somewhat putrefied. Can you help me become successful again in life so I can get off the streets, Donald? I'm homeless drinking vodka.
Hold up, Don, real quick. So, Donald, you said with another guy, a friend in another location. How far was he from you?
Triangulation. We get it, man. We don't want a math lecture up in this bitch, bro. Go Google these fucking dumb questions. Come on, man.
200 miles.
You said 200 miles?
Yes, do know.
Come on, man. Introduce a new topic or something, Donald. Like, your universal equation ain't fucking landing on deaf ears, bro. We want to talk about your YouTube channel, and we want to... Why do you say you... I looked at your YouTube, man. You're not even publishing anything. Why do you even say you're putting shit on YouTube and you're not? Oh my God.
And the sun was in the same exact position in both of y'all skies, even though you were 200 miles away from each other.
Oh my God, Brandon. Go read a book, Brandon. I mean, if you're gonna pontificate, like, just read a book. You're fucking retarded, mate. Did you get hit in the head with a baseball bat in the 3rd grade? What happened, son?
So because we were on the same longitude, the sun would be at the same in the same direction at the same time. So the sun would have risen at the exact same time for me and him, and it would have been at local solar noon for this at the same position for both me.
Holy
Hold on,
fucking
from 200
shit.
miles. Wait.
Don't do it, Donald. And Brandon, don't go down your hypnosis bullshit train. Take your hypnosis bullshit and stick it. Take the Lionel and build a bridge up to your ass. Take your childish nonsense. Take your schizophrenic bullshit and take a train up into your asshole, into your fusta. You understand? Start speaking Spanish or something, man. Your shit is fucking... It's done, dude. We're roasting you. We're gonna toast you and put you on a spigot. Don't even do it. I won't allow it. I will speak up until I get kicked. Don't fuck with me.
You got more energy than nothing, bro.
Yeah, take your language hypnosis and stick it
Yeah,
to the
Bill Burr done kicked me out of his show at the Magic Comedy Castle in Hollywood. I'll fuck with you if you say a Holocaust joke. Don't fuck with me.
Okay. Oh, I don't have ideas about how the universe actually works.
Yeah, look at Donald. Look at Donald's PTR. That's how that shit work, my nigga. Look at Donald. He got the green bean. He the center of attention, okay? Donald is the God King, the spiral nebula of Uranus, and the tuchus of your dreams. I'm gonna come, and a baby's gonna come, and the sun is gonna come, and the universe is gonna come. It's a giant fucking cum machine. Cum industrial complex. You get it? Dummy?
Uranus doesn't have a nebula.
Uranus is my tuchus, and I stuck my fist all the way up your anus. You like getting fisted in your tuchus? No, that's not what the truth of the situation is. What the Bill Cosbyites tell us is that the center of the universe is trying to baby, and Planned Parenthood and your pants under the...
Can you please let others speak?
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Donald. Moderate appropriately. Thank you. God bless you, Donald, King of the Universe. Reboinoi shaloiloi.
Right, so Donald, you said you were 200 miles away, and you're saying this is...
Oh my God. God damn you, Brandon. Stop it. Stop it, Brandon. This isn't an LSAT test. This isn't a SAT, ACT fucking paragraph essay question with multiple choice answers. Don't fuck with us on a social audio technology app, hypnosis app, made with $1 billion investment to ask these bullshit mathematical fucking bullshits.
Alright, shut up. Yeah, what were you trying to say?
So you said that although you were 200 miles away from each other, the sun was rising for both of y'all at the same time. Like, so what you're saying is, like you said, as far as the longitude line, so you're on the same longitude line, so that's why it would appear to be the sun breaking for both of y'all, because you're on the same, I guess, north to south.
Oh my God, Brandon. Come on, bro. Everybody is sharing the same moment, regardless of where you are on the planet. Do not do this flat earth hypnosis. Donald, I have to speak up. If I'm the only one that can speak up because I got the energy to do it, I'm going to do it. Don't take us down the route of flat earth hypnosis. It's ridiculous. Present a philosophy, at least a political, economic, social philosophy of some sort. But don't waste our fucking time this beautiful Sunday, Brandon.
No, because the longitudinal lines, right, is the lines that come from the north to the south, right? That's the longitude lines. So as far you were on that same line, so all right, I had to get that understanding of y'all seeing the sun, come up for y'all in the same. I guess I want to say the same general area in a sense, even though you're not. You're two I guess, latitude, y'all was on the same latitude at 200 miles away, y'all wouldn't have
No,
the same sun.
that
But as
would
far as on the longitude, sure, you would see the sun coming up, I would say, almost at the same time, like rising.
Well, no, we have to be on the same longitude and different latitudes to get this measured. What we're doing is we're measuring the distance between each other and the ground position of the sun at solar noon on the solstice, on the winter solstice. So, choose you take an angle to the sun, and you take an angle to the sun at two different latitudes, but at the same time at local noon. So what you're doing is getting a triangle between you, the center of the Earth, and the ground position of the sun. Now, if you solve for that triangle, you get more than 180 degrees. The only way for that to happen is if you're on a convex surface.
How do you get triangles on a curved surface?
How did you skip geometry class, and how does your brain not visualize three-dimensional objects, Brandon?
Because triangles aren't curved, and they always
Yes, they are. It's called non-Euclidean geometry. Triangles are curved.
Right.
The
So
definition of
you
triangle-
measure the angle of the sun
Hang on.
from the ground.
Brandon, hang on 1 second. So the definition of a triangle is a two-dimensional object that has 3 angles. That's all the definition of a
Oh
triangle.
my God.
It has nothing to do with one.
I know I'm stupid, and I know I'm retarded, but I know I'm not as stupid and retarded as both of you two stupids. Listen, you fucking morons. It's called concepts. It's called using your mind's eye as a computer visualization system. Stop with your communication, linguistic, sound word bullshit. Free yourself from your own stupidity. Let it go, you fucking tossers. Get laid. Get a pussy in your mouth. Get a joint in your mouth. Get some money in your bank account, niggas. The fuck's wrong with you fucking dumb motherfuckers? Live on the God's green earth and be free, nigga. The fuck? You fucking motherfucking morons. Don't waste your fucking lives with this bullshit. Donald is fucking with you all. He's a green bean fascist cocksuck. Hypnotizing your ass, nigga.
Alright, can you stop so that others can speak?
Yeah.
So Brandon, is that
Yeah, I understand if y'all be on the same longitude, but y'all on different latitudes, right? So you're laterally, 200 miles away from each other, in a sense, right? So, but as far as the sun coming from the east, right, going out towards the west, like y'all would.
Brandon,
right?
stop it. You ain't a fucking scientist, man. Live your life and be free. You, God, no, I won't allow this shit. Donald is a bullshit artist. You don't get to. Donald is wasting all your time. That's the worst thing about this opportunity cost paradigm that you communication hypnotists are pervading in. This echo chamber is gonna waste the rest of your day. Pascal, at least tell them what we did. Tell them how we use this app for greatness.
But you've been drinking wine progressively, so I don't know which part I'm supposed to tell them.
The fucking information I have transmitted into this app and the information you have today. We've worked, and these gentlemen here are engaging in useless discourse hypnosis.
So, well, Donald was schooling Brandon. It is his room. I was going to clean that before I engaged.
No, there was no schooling happening. The schooling happened when you were in junior high or high school, and I think both of these gentlemen already went through that process. And what they're doing now is either performative or useless discourse, and it's wasting everybody's stupid time because it's not even formulated.
But when you're being a push right now, and pushes are always rooted in fear.
No, there's no fear here. I am here to fucking rectify as if I was a drill sergeant philosopher ready to take my M16A4 and stick it up this tuchus.
two different guns? Anyway, so
Listen, it is my right as an American with free speech to come on a social audio app and hypnotize and interrupt Donald, who tries to constantly say that the name of his show is Convince Me God Exists, when I copyrighted and trademarked Convince Me God Exists. And Donald, I have told you over and over again, stop violating my copyright and stop violating my trademark. I've already sold this show to Netflix, and you are fucking with my trademark and my copyright, and I have warned you, and my lawyers have warned you, and we have sued you, and you won't stop doing it, Donald. It's not your trademark. It's my trademark. So stop it, Donald, or I will send my lawyers to your house again to issue you a new summons to appear before a grand jury this March 19th, 2024. Thank you very little, Donald. We will call you. Don't call us. If you don't get my joke, it's just a joke. I mean, I come on this app to troll because Donald, as you have heard him earlier, becomes